We will never be slaves! But we will be conquerors!
Welcome to a Lordaeron The Foremath tutorial. Today we'll be looking at the Dark Horde. First we'll go through your heroes, elites and your units, and then what control groups you should have when playing the game. So let's just get right into it. So we're gonna look at your heroes. So Kargath Bladefist, your first hero. His extra ability is Empowered Blades, which do require Hellfire Citadel and the Dark Horde Mastery. What it does, it empowers the caster's weapon and armor with Fel Magic, absorbs all damage taken and increases attack speed by 50% for 15 seconds. Also increases movement speed. This is really great on the front line. Take no damage and increase attack speed is just fantastic. His abilities is Crippling Axe, which hurls an axe at a hero, which stuns them and deals damage. So you can see the numbers there for yourself. Flaming Axe increases the damage of the caster by adding fire, so you of course see the bonus damage there. Warchief's Aura, which returns a percentage of melee attacker's damage back to it, a Thorn's Aura. And then 100 kills, which is a Drunken Brawler, and honestly just really good. So with Kargath, you're not going to be able to do too much. You're going to be able to stun, and you're going to be able to take a lot of damage and being a beast on the front line, really. And not much more with him. Of course, you do have the attribute bonus, which is going to make him way bigger. So, what I would suggest is Crippling Axe and Warchief's Aura, to be honest. That's what I usually go with, and then the attribute bonus whenever I can. I don't prioritize Flaming Axe too much. Maybe some people do, I don't list, but this one is a number 1, and this one number 2, and get 100 kills when possible. Your second hero is Rend Blackhand with Unholy Shield, which do require Blackrock Spire and Dark Horde Mastery. And it's basically a Divine Shield for Rend Blackhand, which is really good. Second ability, or not ability at all, but it's just to summon a Farion when you're level 15. So, Rend Blackhand has Dark Servitude, which calls upon the Warlock's blood within him to renew the corpses of his fallen brothers. Brings 3 people back to life. So a resurrection for Rend Blackhand. Then he has his summons, the Champions of Blackrock. And then he has Resistance Skin, which gives additional armor to nearby units. Or Siege Strike, which this is actually Garrosh actually. Deals AoE damage around a Starfall, basically, but without the channeling. And of course the attribute bonus. Now, you may actually decide what to go for here, because I mean the champions are good, the summons are just great when provoking with the hero squad. Dark Servitude can be pretty good during the battle, but there's a high chance that most of the corpses will be resurrected by someone else than you. I think Shadow Council has some raised dead, and even you have some raised dead, if I'm not wrong. We're going to be looking at the units just to be 100% sure in a moment. But normally, what I do go with is the Resist Aura and the Champions of Blackrock, and then attribute bonus. I'm not saying Dark Servitude is bad, but you also have Scourge in your team, and there's a chance that you might be fighting side by side with him, and then it's just useless. So I think these two might be a bit better. And we're going to look at Tyrion Gorfin as well, because if green leaves, you do get him. So, just so you know what he can do. So I already chosen some of the spells, but you're just going to look here. So we have Death Coil, you know what it does. It heals and deals damage to a target. Wise Counsel, which restores mana to nearby units. And then Bleed, which restores health to nearby units around Tyrion Gorfin. And then Death and Decay. Bleed is just priority, I think, for your army. Maybe Shadow Council. Death Coil is really good too. I would probably say Bleed and Death Coil maybe. At least have a skill or point or 2 into Wise Counsel. So, let's look at the units. So we can actually just start here at the Outland Marauder, which only has one ability, which is to mount a Felstalker. And the Felstalker here, as you can see him here, has Fel Burden, which binds a target enemy A unit to the ground. Aerial Shackles, by the way. Feedback. And then pick up Marauder, and then they become the Fel Rider, which is probably one of the most common units you're going to be using as Fel Horde, or Dark Horde, sorry. They have critical strike, which requires the Dark Horde mastery, and they can dismount as well, creating 2 units. But most of the time, you're just going to be creating Fel Riders, to be honest. Your ranged unit, which is the Dark Horde Scout, has only the Scout mode ability and requires the Infernal Ammunition. And the units goes into Scout mode, allowing them to move undetected through enemy territory, whilst in Scout mode the unit has decreased armor. So you may want to use this however you want to use them. So it's just a decent ranged unit. You should have a squad of them at least, or a control group I should say. It never hurts to just have some ranged units when facing against the Alliance with all their air. The only caster you have in the beginning of the game is the Fel Horde, and they have the additional ability with the Eye of Kilroy, which is really, really useful. Can go around and scout for you. You have Shadow Curse, which reduces the enemy's armor by 4 and gives vision, so just really good spell. Dispel Magic, you know what it does. And then Summon Felminin, which summons a Felwalker from the depths of the demonic void. The spell would automatically attempt to autocast whenever Shadow Sword casts Felclaws. Okay, the tooltip is not fixed, but it will sometimes autocast when Shadow Curse is activated. So nonetheless, it's a good caster, and you should get all of the upgrades as fast as possible. Your Demolisher or your Siege, nothing's too special at all, really. Just a normal Siege, you do want them. Then you have your Elite, the Shattered Hand Chosen. So they have also the Empowered Blades, which Kargath has. So together with him and the Shattered Hand Chosen, your front line is going to survive a lot of damage and be able to soak a lot of damage from the enemy team. Now you have Thick Skin, which reduces the damage taken from ranged attacks by 20, and attacks cannot be reduced below 3 damage. You have Taunt, which taunts the closest enemies and nearby units to attack this unit. You have Roar, which gives nearby units 25% bonus damage, lasts 45 seconds. Then you have Healing Cell, which heals a friendly unit for 370 damage, but it is interrupted if you is in combat or the unit takes damage. Actually, I'm not sure on that, but I think it does from experience. Now, what you normally should have, we're gonna cheat a little bit here just to get what we want. There we go. So normally, of course, you want your Shattered Hand Chosen. We are missing one right now, which because he is at the Black Temple, but regardless, just have your imagination. So you definitely want to have at least a full squad of Fel Riders. They don't hurt and they're really good to have. The critical strike it's good on them, because they do have quite high damage actually. Then you do want to have a full squad of the Fel Horde. I guess I don't need to spam because you get the idea. A full squad of the Fel Horde with you, full squad of Dark Horde Scouts, and the Demolishers. So you do want everything basically. One of each in the squad. You could maybe debate to have more Fel Riders, but at least have a control group of everything. Now, let's look at some of the special upgrades and different paths you can go as Dark Horde. I just need to scroll down on my little script here so I just get everything. So, we're just gonna cheat again, so we can do whatever we want. So, after 20 minutes, what you should get as fast as possible is Magtherden's Blood Pact. And this gives you Magtherden and also increases the hit points. I'm not sure if it does this. But we can check now, because I never get the chance to see that. So, they have 1,325. Let's get Magtherden and see what happens. If they get... Okay, yep. It actually does what it does. So Magtherden is going to be one of your greatest and best heroes you're going to get. So he can get Obliterate, which requires Black Temple, and Demonic Supremacy, which summons a blast of fire at the targeted area, dealing large amounts of damage to friend or foe alike. So be careful with this spell if you get it. You can also Defile the Fountains, which gives you a level, and to my counting there is one in Northrend, one in Outland, and then there's one in the wetlands and 1 nearby Alterac, so you can get potentially 4 levels. His abilities is Annihilation Blade, which is fan of nice. It deals damage to all units nearby him. Fel Blood, which heals every unit nearby. This is one of your prioritized spells you should get, definitely. Enthrall Minions, which is an endurance aura, which gives them increased attack speed and movement speed. So basically you want to at least focus on Fel Blood and Enthrall Minions, I think. At least get 1 or 2 skill points in Annihilation Blade, because it can still be useful to just deal damage around. But the heal is really, really good. And of course, when you get to level 10, he has Siege Monster, which basically makes McThurdon ranged. He gets the Burning Oil effect on his attacks. He gains bonus HP, and yeah, that's it. That's it, basically. So, really, really, really good hero nonetheless. And if I am not wrong right now, I might be, because I'm thinking wrong. There we go. So, of course, you can get the Demonic Supremacy, which gives your Pit Lords as an elite. We're gonna test this right now, because some of the stuff does not happen. Yeah. You do get the Pit Lords, and your siege changes into Doom Cannon. So, Pit Lords first. So, you get Cleaving Attack, you get Fel Breath, you know what Cleaving Attack does, and Fel Breath breathes a demonic blast of energy at multiple targets, dealing 175 damage to each enemy unit in a line, up to 1000 damage. Hound of Terror reduces attack damage of nearby units. And then Death Pact kills a friendly undead or demonic unit, giving 100% of its life back to the caster. And 2200 health and a lot of damage. So, all in all, really, really good elites. I prefer the Shattered Hand Chosen ones from time to time. I don't always go with the Pit Lords, but I guess that is up to you. And they also have Explode, which deals 600 damage in an area and 300 to a larger area. And this will kill your Pit Lord, just so you are aware of that. And that is pretty much the McThurdon. Oh wait, no, hold on. Then you have the Doom Cannons, which has Fel Energy Artillery, which requires the Infernal Ammunition. I think we can find that here? No, where do we find that again? We find it at the Fel Workshop right here. So, which... Oh yeah, we have cheated a bit here, but we're gonna go through that actually, never mind. This great siege machine hurls orbs of demonic Fel energy. The Fel orbs are extremely slow but deal massive damage on impact. So these siege are really, really powerful, but they fire way slower than the demolishers, so keep that in mind when changing. The next special thing we can go through is of course the Infernal Ammunition. Allows the production of Fellow Core machines and enables the Fellow Ammunition on Doom Cannons and unlocks Fel Scout mode for Orc units. So we're just going to research that. And we can just give it a try right here. So you can see how slow this goes. But it will deal larger damage. It wasn't much now, it actually kind of looked pathetic right now. And you do get the Scout's ability. There you see. You don't move any faster, but you can remain undetected unless the enemy has some detection with them. So I guess we can just stay here and keep looking. So of course, the next special or research you have is the Dark Horde Mastery, which unlocks Critical Strike for Fel Riders. Oh god, sorry. And increases the base damage by 5 of all Orc units and unlocks the Empowered ability. Does not affect casters or heroes. And it also grants Ren Blackhand 1 level. There are some people who instantly tries to get this, or waits with it to get the level on Ren Blackhand, to get more use of the level higher on. I would say use it, because most games now, Legion does level Ren Blackhand. But, I don't know, Critical Strike is really good, and the Empowered Blades is just really good for your hero squad. You want, of course, have McThurdon early game, so you will get use of that with the Shattered Hand Chosen. So, I guess you just have to decide that for yourself, what you want to. The next one, I think we need to go a different place for a building, which is the Nefarian's Brood. Unlocks Proto-Drakes and enables Nefarian to summon from Blackrock Spire. these would not be possible unless we had this one. So you can get the dragon scale armor, which gives dragons resistant to ranged damage. We actually have one dragon here which we can look at. So pretty strong. They have unarmored, but with the dragon scale armor, they become really hard to kill for anyone. Then you have Molten Spray, which the drakes fire additional smaller projectiles at nearby targets, which each attack does not deal damage to structures. And then they can pick up Fel Cores. And if we do have one here, we're going to make a Fel Core, so we can have a look at that as well. And they have... Can they really attack anything? Yep, they can. They also have Flame Spew, which spits out flame damage at nearby enemy and burns anything that gets too close. 10 points of damage per second. They can get transported, but most of all, they can detonate and deal lots amount of damage. So we're just going to look here. So they can carry them around. The drakes become much slower and unable to attack. But you can detonate the Fel Core by just dropping it down, basically. So you'll see what you want, but the proto-drakes are a must. Now, we're going to go on... Well, we can also look at Nefarian for you as well. This guy you can get as a hero if you get Ram Black until level 15, or you can just summon him from Blackrock Spire from time to time. So you have Fire Blast, which is Acid Bomb, deals damage per second and reduces armor. Incinerate, which gives bonus damage and basically explodes units if they die under this effect. Devour Magic, which is probably one of the better things, which consumes all magical buffs from an area and gives life and mana back to the caster. And then Doom. Nefarian summons flumps of fire within a large radius. The fire causes initial stun and the damage, then carry on, burning for a short period of time afterwards. So, really good hero. At least one skill into Incinerate, I would say, and Fire Blast and Devour Magic would be prioritized, I think. Now, on to one of your first possible paths, or sub-factions, I guess I actually should say, which is the Smolderthorn Troll Alliance. You do want to get this as quick as possible as well when you get a chance, because this gives you a couple of things. We're instant in combat. So we can look at your hero first, actually, which is Wound, the Smolderthorn Warmaster. He has Blink as his extra ability. Pretty handy. Serpent Mods, you should know what this does. Searing Arrow gives bonus damage to each attack. True Sword Aura, increased damage to ranged units. And Lotus Swarm. So normally what I do, I prioritize the Serpent Wand and the True Sword Aura. Just get a lot of wards and just generally be annoying with this hero in your hero squads. Spam wards, just melt down, not melt down, but deal damage units slow and steady. Your Orc Scouts are replaced with Smolderthorn Berserkers, which has Berserk, increased movement speed and attack speed, but takes 40% more damage. They have the Ambush, which makes the Archer go invisible with increased movement speed. Like this. I don't think they have any ambush damage. No, they don't. But a good ranged. You get access to Fire God Ogres, which you can decide to put in with the Fel Riders, which have thick skin, which reduces damage taken from ranged units and can't be reduced below 3 damage. And Fire God, which is Immolation Aura, basically. Burns nearby units for 10 points of damage per second. So they're good to have in your squad. I think you can only have a maximum of them. I think, where can they be trained again? You have all of these buildings. They can be trained at the base tree. You can only have 8 of them, so 8 of the Fire God Ogres and then rest Fel Orc Riders is not bad. You also get Bat Riders, Incinerate, Unstable Concussion, Aerial Shackle, and then Scorched Earth. So more ranged, or not ranged, air units for you if you want to use them. Then you get your new second caster, which is very handy. So the Smolderthorn Priest. Smolderthorn Priest has feedback, which is meh, it's okay. Sentry Ward is okay. You have the Eye of Kilrook, which is better. But then you get the Healing Ward, which is really good for your armies. So you do want this. Now, this is all of the normal Dark Horde. We're going to go through your Betrayal path right now. Illidan's Fel Horde. Now, this normally requires that Highborn goes Illidari or Naga. So we're going to trigger this.
Research complete. I do not know you, stranger, but your power is vast.
So we're going to actually try and talk over Magthodon talking here, but basically you get to keep Kargath Bladefist as a hero. You do lose Rem Blackhand, and you do lose Pet Lords and Shadowhand Executioner because you get some new elites instead. All of your units pretty much remains the same. From what I remember, you do lose, unfortunately, the Smolder Thorn units, but you gain Varadis Fel Soul and the Demon Hunters as new elites and hero. Varadis is tied to Hellfire, and the Demon Hunters are tied to Varadis, so you see the pattern. You must protect Hellfire. You also get the Chain Magthodon, and if Legion manage to capture him or destroy him, he will get Magthodon as a hero. So you pretty much, Hellfire is a base you want to keep alive. Varadis has Windwalk and Evasion, and his abilities are Fel Eruption, which is, I think it's Fort Lightning or Chain Lightning. We can actually go and test that out. You have Demon Blade, which is an unusual ability. So basically, when the hero attacks, he decreases the armor of nearby units in a 300 range by 3 and causing them to take damage over time. 20 DPS to the main target and 7 to the units around. So this is an unusual passive. Then you have Combustion Plague. God damn it, I'm trying to get away from you. Caster emits a soul-draining pulse, burning the energies of his foes, thus destroying a large amount of enemies' mana within the radius. Amount of mana is increased. Then you have Soul Barrier, which caster surrounds himself with a barrier that absorbs any damage he would take and convert it into HP. Also increases the hero's movement and attack speed by 30%. So we're going to look at all of these 3 abilities. Do these have mana? Well, this one does. So, Fel Eruption, I think, is Fort Lightning. Yep. Then you have the Combustion. We didn't see it here. Then, is it attacking? No. So, there we go. The Fel Blade triggered, and they have decreased armor and takes damage over time. Now we're gonna look at your Demon Hunters. So you do have Fel Heal, which is actually autocastable, so heals unit for 300 damage. Actually, I didn't know it was autocast, just saying that. Evasion, pretty good. Spectral Sight, which is far side. Then your Metamorphosis, which transforms the Demon Hunter into a powerful demon, range attack and bonus hit points. The Demon's attack also gains 20 damage base and becomes Chaos. So we can just look at that quickly. So, yeah, pretty good actually. So that's all for your parts, your units, and everything. Now we are going to look at your early game, and after that, that will be the end of the tutorial. So for this part of the video, I have dug up an old video of me playing Dark Horde to try and give an example of how you should start. So we're going to follow the video, and I'm going to try and comment over it, and hopefully this will give you an idea of how you should start out as Dark Horde. So it's just starting here right now, as normal. And what I would do is select all of the units. Normally, I would take them to attack in Hellfire 2 to creep out there. And then I would send them to Sangamarsh. Then I would also go to the Black Temple, as I did there, and send the units. Then I will send Rem Blackhand to Kargath, but also drop by and take the CP. There's a small event for Dark Horde to take Kargath, and you get some gold and lumber for it, but it's still good. Then I would start making my elites, get my demolishers, start upgrading, and get the casters. And you get the pattern here. Then I go for the Blackrock Champions and the Aura in this case, and I'm doing something. I'm thinking of the music, I think. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, go to Sangamarsh, get peons to start working. I would also normally get a lumber operation in Sangamarsh up as fast as possible. In this video, I think it takes a little while before I get to do it, but this is what you should do. Get the lumber operation in Sangamarsh right there. Of course, getting the master on the Necrolites, and then Rem Blackhand is going to go in there and start taking that out. At this point, after Sangamarsh, I'm going to go up to Blades Edge Mountain and start fighting Draenei if they pushed out that far, or just wait there until potentially Legion hopefully will help you, and Shadow Castle, which will definitely come there. He is pretty much a must if you're going to take that Tempest Keep, and it's much easier with Legion, so if you get him to help as well, that's just great. That's amazing if you can get him to do that. In most cases they do help. Oh yeah, also at Kargath, try and aim down the Demolishers and Towers first, and potentially send Rem Blackhand in the back to with his summon, so just attack from behind. So you get the idea. Send both forces from from Shadow, from the Black Temple and Hellfire to Sangamash and then to Blade's Edge Mountain. You maybe want to creep near the Dark Portal, but if you need a rush, then just skip it. Create a lumber operation in Sangamash to start getting lumber. Lumber is going to be one of your main incomes during the early game until you can conquer some more. And yeah, I don't know, in this game Draenei just stood here, so this is a bad example, but he will probably pull back by this point instead of just staying there. But also something I have found pretty useful lately. Some library players are really good at holding Tempest Keep, so it can be very tricky to actually get it, so we're going to skip a bit and hopefully I do this. Or yeah, if we go back a bit as well. Here I'm conquer Kargath, and as soon as you do that, send them back to Blackrock Spire. They're not going to be safe at Kargath. Don't bother to defend it. It's no use. You just want the event for the golden number, because it's going to be destroyed at some point. Now, what you saw maybe in the background is that I started constructing a base in Blade's Edge Mountain. And that is, if it's a good light blue, it's going to be harder to take Tempest Keep. So you want reinforcements to come quicker instead of letting them be created at Tempest Keep at Hellfire or other places. You do want new units as fast as possible. He needs to hold out 10 minutes, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the game. Act as a shield for the siege. Be careful with the heroes, don't go too far with them, but act as the barrier for Shadow Council and Legion. Try and take out most of the units as possible, I guess. Just trying to think what else you should do. If possible, try and aim Muru with siege, and I think that's the best tips I can give you for the start of the game. It's pretty basic start actually, but after that it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I really can't tell you what's going to happen because it can go different ways. After Tempest Keep has been taken, it's going to be taken nonetheless, no matter what. Then you get... oh, this is a bit far maybe. Actually no, it wasn't at all. Then you of course get green to open a portal for you, and you pour out of the Dark Portal and begin your conquest, basically. If possible, try and get Legion to level Rem Blackhand if Blackrock Spire is open, of course, because you do want to try and get Nefarion instead of summoning the Legion first, because, hey, extra Goltai heroes or semi-Goltai heroes is just great. So, I hope this tutorial was handy for you, with going over the units and what you should do and your different upgrades and such. This is as basic I can get with these tutorials, I think. There's a lot to explain and lots that should be explained. I don't want to go longer in and explain the game for you, but conquer the south with your allies. Follow them and do what you should. You should be the shield in the battles, as you have one of the better melees in the game. And get green with you as much as possible. He can heal up your army with Terran Gorfin, with his bleed. And yeah, I hope this tutorial was useful. Please give me feedback on your thoughts of the video, if I should change something in the format of how I do this. This was the first ever and I hope to do much more. So, thank you so much for watching, and until next time guys, bye bye.